Hello, I'm Ajahn Jyoti Palo. Welcome to Sauntering into Silence. A few days ago, someone asked a question on my YouTube channel of how do I have so much free time? And I thought that was actually a really good question. And I responded to him in the comment section that a lot of it is choices. It's, I chose to become a Buddhist monk, and right now I'm choosing, and they're allowing me to be here, but I've asked to be a resident at Birken Monastery, and it just happens to be a pandemic, so there's really not a whole lot going on. We do work really hard, but Ajahn Sona, the other day I was pointing out how I was sort of moving the firewood. I learned how to back a trailer up, not just backing it up a few feet, but backing it up quite a distance in a very tight area so I could get the firewood right to where we want to store it, instead of where we have been doing it about 100 feet away and then having to wheelbarrow it. So it's like do one job instead of two. So it's not working hard, it's working smart. That's always been my theme. But also too, I think hopefully you've noticed in my channel, like when I have been doing work like chainsawing or making trails, making the shrines out here, I don't see that as a chore. I don't see that as work. I see it as an offering that I'm making to anybody who comes to Birken Monastery to meditate. It's a gift to the community, a gift to myself. So if I do it with a light heart and fun, and it's even like you don't have to work, really hard. It's just a little bit every day. So I do tend to put in at least 2 hours, sometimes up to 6 or 8 hours of work a day, helping out around the place.
Through the bottom, I'm blowing just in that little tiny little hole there. Yeah, it's just on the edge of coming there.
See, that's it.
There we go, see? Woo, woo. Like that. Yes. Now.
But a lot of my videos also are of just nature. And so last night we had a wonderful Dhamma discussion as a community, and afterwards I came out and I noticed the clouds were not quite like this. There was a lot more blue in them, but I decided to do a time-lapse shot. And so almost all of the time-lapse videos that I've done, I don't really show you, but it's like, I've shown a few places, but there's the camera right there behind me, filming hopefully the reflection of the Buddha image in the water and the clouds moving by. But while I'm doing that, as I'm doing right here, sitting and meditating. So the sauntering for me is a meditation. It's being out and walking, being in the body, really paying attention to my body. Like, now I still have a bad ankle, so I just have to be really careful about how I'm walking, where I'm putting each of my footfalls. So it's a form of walking meditation. Normally walking meditation is done on a path, and it can actually be more difficult doing it just wandering, because there's fewer moments the mind can be brought back to the present moment. So one of the nice things about doing walking meditation on a path is, like, if you just have a 50-foot long path, every time you get to the end of the path you have to stop and then turn around. So it's a moment where you can become present to the moment, and then you walk back to the other side and you have to stop and turn around, and that's the point where you can become present. And it's totally amazing how walking from here to here you can get completely distracted and lost in a thought. So when you're walking 4 or 5 miles in one direction and coming back, sometimes you can get lost in a whole train of thought and miss the entire walk. So a lot of it for me is learning to stay in the body, stay present. So, ask the question, like, how do you have so much free time? Like I said, it's a choice. Like, I've chosen to be a monk. We never ask anybody to become a monastic. It's a personal choice. You give up a lot being a monastic. Living in a community, it's like if the community wants to do an activity, say, formal activity, like say an ordination or any kind of formal Sangha business that we do, you have no choice. It's like the abbot or the community decides, okay, we're doing it at 1 p.m. It's like, oh, but it's really beautiful. I want to go out and make a movie. No, you do what the community wants. As long as you ask to be in a community, you are committing yourself to be harmonious and live within what the community asks of everybody. And so, yeah, you give up a lot. You give up choices. Like I haven't, since I've been here, it's like awesome cooks tend to gravitate towards monasteries. So it's we sometimes joke that we should open a cafe here. It's just the food is so good. But I really have almost no choice at all in terms. Like I can't go to the kitchen and say, tomorrow could you make such and such? No, we don't do that. So it's all living just completely on faith, on generosity, and what any particular person who's responsible for any job, they're often given a lot of freedom to be able to do that within certain constraints. But yeah, you give up a lot, but you also get a lot. So it's like, this being the pandemic and living in a really rural part of British Columbia, there's not a whole lot of demands on us. Last year I spent most of the summer preparing firewood, and I got about 5 years worth of firewood cut, and we did a lot of splitting. So this year it was actually quite simple. In about 2 weeks I moved, just on my own, I moved about 75% of the firewood, stacked it and everything. And then one of the late stewards here wanted to reseed an area that we had to drive the tractor through to make a road for me to get the firewood back in there. He wanted to reseed it with grass. And so I just asked one person the other day if he could help me get stuff back there, and 2 people offered to help, and we got all that done in one morning. And then in the afternoon, Sister Mon, bless her heart, just sort of asked everybody, hey, let's go move the rest of the firewood. So we had it all down below, but we needed to move it up into a storage area. What's going on out here? Sister Mon, what are you doing?
I just want to help you to make warm in winter.
You know the famous proverb now, firewood keeps you warm 3 times or 2 times?
Yes.
Once when you're chopping it, once when you're loading it, and once when you burn it.
And it took 6 of us, but we got it done in an hour and a half. So literally within 2 weeks, just by putting just forth a little bit of effort, all of next year's firewood is already stored and ready to go, just in 2 weeks. So, like I say, there's choices, there's the attitude you take. So for me, this is my choice for my free time.